Everyone, making a video of how to remove an Allison 1000 5-speed. Truck we're working on today is a 2003 LB7 Duramax. So what we're doing right now is removing the starter so that we can get the flywheel bolts holding the converter off. This is the first thing we're doing since the truck's just down here and it's fairly easy to do. So I'm going to get this bolt out. Alright, as you can see, we got the starter bolt out, so the starter's just hanging there. What we're going to do is take some baling wire and tie it up against the frame to keep it out of the way so we can get all the torque converter bolts out. Now with the starter up tied against the frame rail, we should have plenty of room to get back in there and get to our flywheel bolts. Can't really get it to focus down in there. But as you can see, the flywheel's back there in that hole. And we'll take the bolts out and that will release the torque converter from the motor. Clearance to get to the flywheel bolts, we have to figure out a way to turn the flywheel. So what I've gone ahead and done, since I don't have a 36 mil box end wrench, is pull the fan shroud out. For the fan shroud, there is 4 bolts up front of the radiator. There's 4 up here, and then you'll just pull the TCM. You can lay it across on the battery. Make sure the negative battery terminals are unconnected. You don't want that arcing off anything because it will be fried. So now that bolt down there for the harmonic balancer is a 36 millimeter. You can also use a 1 7/16 inch. So what we're going to do is turn the flywheel over and line up the torque converter bolts through the starter hole and pull each of them out. There's 6 of them. So the easiest way to do this is with 2 guys. As you can see, he's up here with a big wrench and a 36 mil socket, and then for somebody to sit down here and tell them when they're good to go ahead and spin it, keep going, and stop. So there you go, that's the next bolt for the torque converter. It is a 16 millimeter socket to pull those out. There is 6 of them, probably an unconventional way of getting these out. But as you can see, I just got a little 3/8 drive air ratchet down there, just a short extension onto the bolt, and then just my air hose. It's kind of tight in here, but you can reach your hand in, and I already broke this one loose, and then you just break it loose like that. Then you can pull your air ratchet out, and you can pull your bolt out. Got the truck back up in the air. As you can see, we already removed rear drive shaft. It's just these 4 bolts here. Just hold 2 clips over your U-joint. They're 10 millimeter bolts. You can go ahead and pull those out. And then it's just a slip yoke up front. You can just go ahead and slide the rear drive shaft out. Unless you have an extended cab long bed or something, you'll have a carrier bearing back here somewhere that you will need to undo because it's a 2-piece drive shaft. Up front, it's the same deal. Front drive shaft or front differential. And then you need to unbolt the cups around the front drive shaft. And then it goes ahead and it pulls out just like the rear does. It might be a little stiff, but you can work it out. Alright, so we got the transmission cross member out. The next part of what we need to do is pull out this bracket that mounts to the cross member, and then after that we're going to pull out all of the T-case bolts and all of the electrical connectors to the T-case, and then we will pull the T-case out. As you can see, we got a tranny jack underneath the transmission because there is nothing holding it up. So make sure not to just let it free hang. So the reason we pulled out that little brace holding up the T-case is so that we can get to the T-case bolts itself. There's one underneath. So while my boy over here is working on that, I'm going to work on taking this the gear selector off. For this nipple up here, all you need to do is put a little pry bar behind it and pop it off. Just be very gentle with it. And then here, there's a retainer clip. You need to pull the retainer clip out and then depress some of these tabs, and that will pull back itself. reason we're pulling that out is just so that we have enough room to get the T-case itself out. Doing all the electronics on the transfer case. For this connector, what you have to do is pull this gray pin out. It's just a safety lock for the main connector here. And then you're just going to push down the black tab inside of it. And then pull the two apart. These are probably pretty stiff. So that one's unplugged. Then for this transfer case output speed sensor right here, it's just a little tab. You're just going to pull it up like so, and then wiggle the connector loose. They're all pretty dirty, so before those all go back in, you might consider cleaning those up. Where'd that screwdriver go? Up top here, we have a little wiring harness hold down. The easiest way to get these undone is just take your flathead screwdriver, pop it in there, pop those apart, give you some extra room to move this wiring harness around. And then same with this one over here on this side. Let's see. And that'll allow you to get the harness free of the transfer case. And then there's some more connectors up front of it that go up to this top piece up here. Looks like we'll have to just do that because it comes off when you unbolt the transfer case. We'll have to unplug the rest of this, or we'll have to unplug this here to get the tranny out anyways, so we'll just go ahead and do that now. So you can just let the harness sit down over here. Other than that, this line was the main harness that we had connected earlier. And then you just need to disconnect this breather tube up top, and then you can pull the transfer case. Got the T-case out. What we're going to do next is remove the V-band on the exhaust from the downpipe and also this transmission bracket mount. We're doing that just so we can get some more clearance for the transmission lines because they are pretty close to the exhaust here. Once we get the exhaust undone, we can pull the clips on the transmission lines. They are going to drip a lot, so you'll want to put a pan under them to collect that. We're also going to drain the tranny, which probably should have been done first, but whatever. And then we're going to go through and unhook all of the electronics. Another thing, on the other side of the transmission here, this is on the driver's side, we have a whole bunch of electronics over here that need to come done, including the park neutral drive selector. These fuel lines need to come unbolted from the side of the transmission as well. And other than that, just all the electronics need to come out as well. Now I'm going to show you how to remove the clip for the transmission cooler lines. All you need is a small screwdriver, and you're just going to try and find the central point of the clip. You're going to shove the screwdriver in and then just pry the clip down. You'll have to put one finger on the other side to kind of help hold the tooth, and then the clip comes out. Then the transmission cooler lines will just pull straight out. Make sure to have a bucket under them as they will drip. Wiring's almost all unhooked. Last two connectors that are kind of tricky to get to. You can see this one up top here, and then there's one up there a little bit further to the left. Get those two unplugged, the wiring will be done. Then all we need to do is remove these brackets for the fuel line holders. Over on this side we got the lines undone. They can be pretty tricky to pull out. Once the wiring's all done, we need to undo the dipstick and pull the dipstick out. And then other than that, you are good to go to pull out all the bell housing bolts and drop the transmission. go. That's how you remove an Allison 1000 5-speed out of a 2003 GMC Duramax. As you can see, got fuckboys sitting over there in the chairs doing jack shit. Pulled the flywheel off. If you're going to pull your flywheel off to inspect the rear main seal, you'll need to get new rear main seal bolt or flywheel bolts, as the factory ones are torque yield and cannot be reused. After cleaning up and doing whatever you are doing to the transmission, you are good to put it back in. And all you would do is just follow these steps in reverse. Thanks for watching.